Good morning, buenos dias. All across the city, it's all about birds today, which is, I think, our favorite subject. Are you guys hearing that?
That's my brother.
Was it you? Oh my goodness. So you'll be our bird caller, okay? Because you totally sounded like a house sparrow. All right. You guys ready to go? Let's go birding.
Hi, I'm David Yarnold. I'm President and CEO of the National Audubon Society, and welcome to Bird LA, an event like no other in the United States. More than 30 venues where people are going to be birding all day over LA because, after all, LA is the birdiest city in America. Welcome to Bird LA. It's a pleasure to be here.
I grew up in LA. I've always lived here and gotten to know the birds of this area very well. And I've been here working at the museum, managing the bird collections for 33 years now. We got a warbling vireo coming into the willow here, which is a migrant just passing through. Managing a very important research collection of birds, but with our increasing emphasis on citizen science, gathering data outdoors on biodiversity, it's sort of become an indoor-outdoor job too, and that's very enjoyable.
What's the species name for pigeons?
Rock dove.
Rock dove. All right, and here comes a fourth. All right, so 4 rock doves. And we're not even in the park yet.
So the drawing is a process. It's not just, I made a bird drawing. You're actually looking. You're more looking than you are drawing. What you know often gets in the way of what you're seeing. Yeah. So a lot of times I tell people, look at the shape of the eye in relation to the shape of everything else, but forget that it's actually an eye.
Robert has something to show us.
Hey, does everybody have these at home sometimes? Yeah, so when we find these on the ground, we always want to break the edges here because it's really bad for birds because it gets caught around their necks. And so whenever I find these, before I'm throwing them out myself, I always break all of the loops here so that they don't get caught around the bird's neck.
What species of goose
California goose. Canadian.
Say it again? Canada goose. So let's go over and take a look.
Mr. Wall.
This is an amazing day. To me, this day is all about celebrating the birds of Los Angeles, the birdiest county in the United States. And it's great to be out here today in the different communities looking at birds. These kids are so excited today. I can't believe how excited they are to look at birds today. They just came out here running and pointing out the black-crowned night herons and the cormorants. They're really having a great time.
It's camouflaged. It's a juvenile black-crowned night heron. Did you get on it?
Yeah, I did.
So the Territorn had this amazing 12-foot wingspan. And because it had such a big wingspan, we have a good sense of the kind of environment it would want to live in, right? If it has a wingspan like that, it can't live in dense cover. Instead, it's going to have an open area. So, lots of low shrubs.
Everyone, please communicate with each other. So if you see the bird and you know someone next to you doesn't see it, help them get on the bird. And this is going to turn into a full-on bird party, okay? It's going to be really fun.
He's very top of the tree, and he's going towards even farther.
You have a view from over there?
He's behind this branch right here.
We did a couple bird walks here in the nature gardens this morning, and the idea, I asked the group right at the beginning, how many people consider themselves birders, and almost nobody raised their hand. And I said, well, that's great. You're the easiest ones to please, because a hardcore birder isn't going to see anything new and exciting right here in the urban core of LA, but nevertheless, there are lots of birds around. Any one of these can be the spark that gets people interested in birds, and ultimately, we hope, of course, interested in conserving bird populations. So, we showed them an Allen's hummingbird nest with 2 babies in it, and the black phoebe nest here that's very visible. Finches at the feeders, things that aren't at all rare, but they begin to hint at the diversity of birds that you'd find even in the urban core of Los Angeles. So I figured if people walked away from here knowing the names of and being able to recognize 3 or 4 kinds of birds, that it's a great success, because maybe that'll spark the curiosity, and then they might then want to go out and see the other, 515 species of birds that have been found in Los Angeles County.
So this one is one of their migratory ones. It's not here all year long.
So in my scope too, female black-headed grosbeak.
Thank you. Do we know how many there are?
There's a lot. There are, in Malibu, there's flocks of 50, 60 of them.
Wow.
Oh, they're huge flocks. They do very well around bird feeders. They do very well around oaks. They do well around sycamores.
Wow.
So they're the one feral parrot that we have here that has no problem surviving in this sort of oak habitat.
The diving duck that we would see here, that we saw a lot of in the winter, was the ringneck duck. But what happened to them?
They migrate to the north.
That's right.
To the colder weather.
That's right, to the colder weather, and they'll return to us in the autumn. We'll come check for them again.
Now, you wouldn't find a barn owl flying through this habitat because barn owls is more like that open habitat we were out in before. Mm-hmm. They like to sort of fly above grassland looking for a rodent. They hear it and they'll drop on the rodent. The screech owls are just looking down at the ground. Although they have very good hearing, they're looking down the ground, they see something, they drop on it, and they bring it right back up because they're worried about getting hunted.
So that's 209 species that are living in Los Angeles right now, from Lancaster in the desert all the way up to the mountains, all the way down to, we were in South Central LA looking at birds there. There's, the spotted doves that live over there. We really like birding along the San Gabriel and Los Angeles River because, as you guys know, there's not a lot of water around here, so water concentrates interesting birds. There's so many species in urban Los Angeles that are just flying, between the introduced species and the migrating species. There's such an amazing diversity of bird life here. So look in your backyards. Look at those little birds that are moving through and see if you can figure out what they are.
And I will tell you this, if I came here alone today, I never would have seen all of the species of birds because you brought them to our attention. So we're stronger when we work together on this. Thank you. What do we say to our friends from Los Angeles Audubon Society, from Audubon, California, and from National Audubon Society who joined us today? What do we say?
Thank you.
Thank you. And you've made Bird LA Day 2015 an amazing.
Great job!
Quiero dar las gracias a los padres que están aquí. Les animo a participar en esta actividad con su familia. En nuestro vecindario hay tantas aves que observar y pueden ver cómo desarrolla la mente de sus hijos. Gracias. Thank you, everybody. All right, and let's bird as we go back to school. And what do we call baby birds?
Chicks.
Chicks, you got it.